Well, mind your health. I am excited today to talk to you, John Iannazzo. We're talking about muscle, mind, medicine, mouth, all kinds of things today. We have a special guest in John, and David, I'm excited to have you meet him. He was curious about, you were curious, what can I add or bring to Mind Your Health? And what we thought about was kind of how we tie a lot of pieces together. And I think let's talk a little bit about how movement and muscle have shifted and changed your life in the past few years.
Yeah, it's been a hard couple of years, and the gym, exercise, working out has really helped me and almost saved me from what has happened.
Exactly. Can you share a little bit about your story and then how this has helped?
Well, my story is my wife passed away about 2 years ago.
Okay. Has it been 2 years?
Almost, yeah, it'll be 2 years in February. Yeah, and it was obviously very hard. And I've always enjoyed the gym and working out and everything too, but it became even more important because it became an escape from everything, you know, and it became something to look forward to every day, and people started coming to work out with me. And long story short, we figured out on our own, I guess there's obviously research and people know this, that being physically active helps your mental health. We found out on our own that the more we did, the more we worked out, the more we got together, the better mentally everybody did. And everybody came, had their own issues, everybody's got something. And it's been an interesting experience.
Well, and loss is something that was sad, but he also had a 2-year-old. And that was even more incentive to
So I was thinking, absolutely, the ability to exercise obviously clears your mind, gives you a purpose and a focus. I can see how, you know, I can't imagine the difficulty and pain that you've gone through. But I'm so glad you found an outlet for doing that.
And we talked a lot before. A lot of us talk a lot. What can we do? Is it medicine that's going to help me? Is it faith that's going to help me? Is it, you know, is it a combination of a lot of things? One of the things, and one of the reasons I was excited to share your story also is, as a psychologist, I oftentimes have folks that are going through difficult things too. It may not be grief, but it's tough stuff. And I would call John, and I'll let you talk about some of the folks that have been with you and the experience that they've had.
Sent some people over to come work out, and there was one guy, and he was going through, I guess, a pretty serious case of depression. And I still struggle to understand exactly what depression is. Like I was sad, but I never could say I was depressed. And he'd show up and he'd do a workout and he'd leave and he'd seem a little better, just a little better when he'd leave. Then he kept coming day after day, and he reported.
What did you notice? Yeah, what did he report?
Yeah, he just seemed happy. He just seemed more interested in life. Where before he was talking about he'd had trouble getting out of bed, he'd just stay in his room all day and just kind of hide away from the world. A couple guys actually were like that, where they would, you know, they just kind of isolate themselves. Things weren't going, you know, great in their world, and they'd keep coming to work out, and we do strange things. We don't do, you know, it's not like your average gym.
I see a 100-pound weight sitting here in front of me, and I'm just depressed looking at it, thinking, I hope he doesn't make me pick that.
But that is one of the smaller ones too. And and the one guy you were talking about, one of the best days was with Atlas stones, which are, if you know, Atlas stones are, they're large balls of concrete.
Atlas stones?
Atlas stones, yeah. So it's like, think of a big concrete ball.
Okay.
And some of them get pretty heavy. We have some pretty big ones. There was one day he was dead set on picking one up that was just over his body weight. And he would not stop until he got it up, and you could just see it's such a dumb thing to say how happy he was that he finally did it, but he was able, like, while he was thinking about it and figuring it out and trying to how to grip it and lift it and everything too, he wasn't thinking about his problems, wasn't thinking about why he's depressed. Everything else was out of his mind except for this. And then when he finally did it, he felt great about himself.
So there's tremendous, and I'm sure you know this better than anybody, but there's tremendous value in setting a goal and then meeting that goal. You know, and my son's always kidding me. You know, it's not the destination, it's the journey. But to set your mind to meeting this goal, regardless of what the goal is. And your goals can change and over time, and depending on age and, you know, everything. I have no interest in lifting up a concrete ball, but
everybody said that.
Everybody says that, yeah. And then you do it a couple times, like, okay, I got this one. I think maybe I can get that one, and then
I'm good.
So for 6 months, he calls. He goes, "You've got to come over. You've got to come over. You've got to come to the gym." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I go to the gym every day." He goes, "No, you really need to experience this." And again, going over there, it is funny how just the challenge of seeing that dumb
Yeah.
concrete
And
ball.
you didn't think you could do it until I pointed
No.
out that the smallest one weighs less than some of your grandkids.
Right.
And you pick them up.
Exactly.
So-
But just being intimidated that I really couldn't do it, and then doing it, I felt so great. But what was funny about this young man was he came to sessions, or just when I saw him out, is this true? Stood straighter.
Right.
For the first time in his life, he felt good about his body. Right?
Yeah.
What are some other things that you notice about the folks? Because it's amazing.
Everybody who's come to work out with me, and first it started, they were coming for me because they, I needed people around and like distraction and everything because I was going through, and then we quickly realized that everybody's got issues with anxiety, with loss, with depression. Everybody has something. And everybody who came to work out, the one girl who was working out for a while with us, she was telling me she was so excited one day. She was talking to her mom on the phone, and her mom told her, she says, "I haven't heard you this happy in a long time." And the only real change in her life was she was coming to work out every day.
Exactly. Is it possible?
Yes.
Sounds like a therapy session, right? Is it possible that it's also the connection and camaraderie about being in an environment like that?
I think so. Again, I don't have, the anecdotal evidence is all I have.
But
I
that's
do
good
think
enough.
the
Lived
people,
experience.
Lived experience. Yeah, lived experience. It definitely seems like it. I know a lot of people go to the gym when they're having problems, and you see people where you go to the gym, they put their headphones in, their hoodie up, and they're working out by themselves. That can't feel good. To feel alone in a room full of people, I think would feel even worse. So the way we like to do it is we like to work out as a group and all kind of pull together
Right.
and cheer each other on, and
Well, I'm laughing because the way we like to do it is we like to put extraordinarily heavy objects in your way in a group and cheer you on, or at least challenge
I like to
you.
watch other people
Oh, me
do
too.
it.
Me too. I mean, Brett was back there. You were there too. We had a grand time doing that too, taking
So
pictures.
tell me more about, so do you just lift this up and then let it drop, or what do you,
All
you're carrying
kinds of
this
things.
around you?
Yes, to all of it. Yeah, sometimes you pick it up and put it on your shoulder. You can press it overhead. You can pick it up and run back and forth.
Can you do something with it while you're sitting?
No, not really. Not from a sitting position. That probably wouldn't be great.
How many people?
There's not a lot we can do here because I don't want to damage anything if it does drop.
But go ahead.
How many people can lift their own body weight? I mean, that just seems like
No,
a
that's
huge.
a good question.
I mean, few, right? I mean, that's
Over time, over a couple weeks, couple months, pretty much everybody.
really.
Yeah.
Do you think that working out like this in an environment like you have also helps people get over fear, shame, blame, and embarrassment? In other words, if you can't lift it, you can't lift it. You were like, I mean, when we were doing it together, you were encouraging, and then when it felt like it was too much, we laughed, or it was something fun, because there was an element of humor to everything.
Yeah, for sure. There's really no way to fail lifting weights, because when you're working out, they always tell you to go to failure or close to failure. So when you have a barbell and you're pressing it, you want to go to you can't do it anymore. So if you have something you can't lift, but you're really trying, it's still a positive. You're still doing something. You're still stressing the muscle. So there's really no way to fail unless you don't do it at all.
Another thing I like is, I assume this is at your home.
Yes.
So
For now.
so many people with exercise, it's so intimidating to go to. My wife didn't like going to Planet Fitness or Orange Theory, all those other ones. 'cause,
Right.
She's so intimidated by other people doing other things, and the people with that are not paying attention to you.
Yeah.
You said with the earphones, but it can be intimidating.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen that too. And it just takes a couple of weeks, couple of days, couple of weeks to really get over that. And you're talking about not being able to lift certain things.
Yeah.
There was one guy, in when he first started, he wasn't really that strong. We were all kind of working together, and we had we have a strongman log. I don't know if you've ever seen.
Yeah, what's a
the
strongman
world's strongest
log?
man on ESPN.
Okay.
It's a whole strength sport. It's a very niche sport. But it's what a barbell is, like just a standard
Yes.
bar. It's like that, only it looks like a log.
Okay.
Okay, so it's kind of awkward to lift, and so we were working on that, and there were a couple plates on, and he was like, "Oh, I can't do that. I'll just wait and do something next time." I'm like, "Well, no, it's real simple. The plates go on, the plates go off. We'll just take them off, and then you can do yours, and then we'll put them back on. We'll do ours." And yeah, there's no, I had to explain to him that the strength is all relative.
True.
The three of us that were there, the one guy was about twice as large as the smallest guy, so of course he can lift more, just being 6'4", 300 pounds.
Yeah, there's no finger pointing.
Exactly.
Start where you can start.
Exactly.
And then let's get you to where you're going to go.
Yes.
I get that.
So I just have to say this. Thank you for joining us today. And what a great way for us.
To mind your health.
Mind your health, mind your health, mind your health, mind your health.